I do believe I am live. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's still thinking. Oh, I am live. Hello. Hey, everyone. Um, Here we go. You think the amount of Facebook Lives I've done in my time that you'd kind of, you'd get used to doing it, and for some reason, every time it's just different. I love it. So, hello everyone. This is my kind of weekly Facebook Live into the Does Size Really Matter, our Facebook group. And I'm just getting my screen set up a bit so I can see myself a little better. Fix my hair, all that stuff that you need to do when you're on a Facebook Live. Um, so thank you for joining and thank you for being in this group. I mean, I really designed it originally and created it to gain awareness and information more than anything else. To be able to talk to people about where they function from with their body, because I guess my whole life, I've been in this body for almost 40 years now. And my whole life, I guess it's been this constant exploration of what having a body, like what it means, I guess, like what what reality I want to have with that. And I've watched my whole life the way other people have created with their bodies, and sometimes I've made interesting choices and followed what other people have done and found how quickly that doesn't work for me. And even now, still, like, it'd be awesome to say, oh, I've got these tools available and I use them 100% of the time, and I'm out of judgment and I don't do this and I don't do that. But it's literally like every single day is a possibility to create something greater and something different with our bodies. Let me get my flowers in there a little bit more because they're beautiful. And I guess that's really where I'm at with all of this, is like, what if every day, what if in every 10 seconds of every day you were different? And would that create more ease with your body if you allowed it to? I posted a funny like a meme graphic on my Instagram page, I think last night or yesterday, from this funny Instagram handle. And it said, I've woken up over 100,000 times or whatever, 10,000 times in my life, and I'm still not used to it. And I thought that was hilarious because it's so true. Like, I wake up every day and I'm like, how do I do this again? What do I do? Like, where am I? What am I? But what if we were the same with our bodies as well? And what if that point of being like, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing here, was the very beginning point of creation? And what if that, I have no idea how to do this or what I'm doing here, was how we could create ourselves and our bodies every day in every 10 seconds? And what if you did wake up every day, every single day of your life, and be like, you know, it's like, what if CRS, and if you don't know what CRS is, it stands for can't remember shit. What if CRS was actually your greatest capacity, one of your greatest capacities? The fact that when you don't have a reference point and you don't have somewhere to create from, that you can actually choose anything and choose again and choose again. So yeah, I asked a question in the Facebook group about, and please, if you guys are on, feel free to ask questions or comment, and I will answer whatever comes up for you guys. I did ask a question like, what do you guys want me to talk about? Like, I have so many tools and awarenesses, but the thing I find, we're going about our day and there's so much awareness that we get, that we, I don't know, that we become aware of, that we perceive. Um, and I think a lot of the time when you have a conversation with someone, it starts to bring up the fact that what you're aware of and what's going on for you, actually there's a resonating frequency throughout the world, basically, with everyone, that a lot of what's happening and what's up for you is probably going to be up for other people. So that's probably the main reason I love doing these Facebook Lives and why I created the whole group, really. It's like, what if everything you were aware of was an opportunity to create something greater for you, but also for everyone else? And that's the thing I love about consciousness, is it is like that resonant frequency. It's like that tightly woven tapestry of where we are connected to everyone and everything, and where everyone and everything is connected to us. So yeah, there you go. So I did ask because sometimes I have these awarenesses throughout the day, and what I'd really love is to talk to you guys about stuff that you guys want to know as well, and to have that conversation based on what's going to contribute to your world and your bodies. Just started raining here. It's so beautiful. So even since I started the group as well, there's been like a bit of an underlying, like, recurring theme that's been coming up around weight loss and exercise. So that's kind of something that I get is up in a lot of people's worlds, like this place of like, I want to change the shape and the size of my body, but I don't necessarily want to have to work hard to get it. So I wanted to look at that as well, and look at like where are you, or where are we afraid of a bit of hard work as well, and where have we decided that hard work has to be hard? So if there's been a time in your life where you've had a body that you quote unquote saw as better than the body that you have now, what was different about that? And what did you do, and what were you then that you're not willing to be now? And what if you could have that but not have the judgment that went along with it? So how many of us are creating a body that's bigger than we would like, in order to not have to work, in order to not have to work to have the body that we truly desire? And what if, to change things, sometimes it takes a little bit of effort and a little bit of work, but what it doesn't require is force. And your body actually doesn't desire for you to force it to do anything. But most bodies actually, at some point, do enjoy and like change through actual physical movement or effort, I want to say. But where have we made those things wrong or hard, or yeah, where have we made effort the thing that we don't want to do? And where are we willing to put the effort in to create greater things in this world for other people, but we're not willing to use it to create a greater world for ourselves? Like, I know for me, my priorities most of the time when I get up in the morning is, access consciousness's business. I work a lot on Simone's business, on Brendan's business. That's a lot of the time where my priorities are. I go to like what's coming up, what we're creating over there, and I put a lot of effort and a lot of energy into creating that stuff because I love it and I want to see more of it in the world. But where do we do that for other people? And when it comes to doing that for ourselves, we're not willing to have that same level of effort, and we're not willing to put in the same amount of work for ourselves as we are for other people. So Vivi, you said every time I shedded weight, I got bigger. What do you mean? As in you lost the weight and then you put that amount on and a little bit more? And also, so there's so much involved with like where we look at, okay, so also look at that. Like what if we were also like, part of having this humanoid body is we fluctuate a lot. Like, I know myself, I can literally, if it came down to the scales determining, you know, anything, determining my happiness or my point of view about my body, what it would be it would change so much. Like, if I weigh myself in the morning and then weigh myself again at night, it could be a 3 to 5 kilogram difference in a day. So where are we placing the most importance on what we have on the scales, and less about like what our bodies are truly telling us with this change and this fluctuation? So where are we trying to make our bodies show up a certain way and not change? Like, at the start of this Facebook Live where I was talking about that 10 seconds, like every 10 seconds being like, I have this body, like now, now what? Like, what if it was okay for our weight to fluctuate? Like, what do you truly actually, what do you truly desire to create with your body? Is it a set number on the scales that never changes? Or is it a place where you're healthy, you're strong, your body has that sense of ease in the movement of it? Like, what if you started looking more at what you want to create energetically than what you want to create in a linear, black and white sort of way? Yeah, can't remember shit exactly. It's actually one of your best friends, and you don't have to have blonde hair because I have total CRS and my hair's like brownie red. So, and where is it that, okay, so also looking at when your body weight, when you can't seem to, like you lose weight, but then it always comes back to this same number or something bigger. Like, who are you trying to prove right or who are you trying to prove wrong with that judgment of your body? Like, was there a point in your life when someone told you something about your body and you bought that as real and you aligned and agreed with it? Or sorry, the Facebook thing's back the front, so I always get confused about what side my hair is on. Um, so who are you trying to, and this might be a question to play with, who are you trying to prove right or who are you trying to prove wrong with the judgments of your body? Like, has there been someone in your life that has told you something about your body or projected at you so dynamically that you bought it as real and you've either spent all this time aligning and agreeing with it and trying to prove them right or resisting and reacting to it and trying to prove them wrong? And in both ways, taking yourself completely out of the equation of what you and your body are capable of and what you truly desire to create together. So, and what if the number on the scale, like what if your weight, like, I started looking this actually, and I know Gary and Dane did a telecall, and they've done a part two. They did the first one maybe 7 years ago or something called the Obesity Clinic. Um, and this is where it started looking at some of this stuff. Like, when did we start weighing ourselves? When did we start weighing ourselves and putting the importance, like the relevance on the number on the scale? And it was a insurance company in America, the MetLife, which is like basically a life insurance company, that were like, okay, well, if we're going to start insuring people's lives, we need to set some parameters around what a healthy person is. So that's when we started weighing. Well, I mean, I did a bit of Google research. We started weighing ourselves a while ago, but when it became this thing of it actually having a huge amount of relevance and meaning was when this MetLife life insurance thing started to come into play. And then now, from then we have pharmaceutical companies and we have all of these companies that actually benefit greatly from us judging and making our bodies sick and looking at them and telling them they're wrong. And then therefore to make them right, I need to lose weight and go on this diet and take this medication and, go to a doctor and do all of this stuff. Like, where did we start making the way our bodies, what the number was on the scale, the valuable product? Because we haven't always done it. Go back 150, 200 years, it was completely different. I mean, food was a thing that you basically worked for. You didn't know all the time that your next meal was going to come so easily. We didn't have the luxury of opening a refrigerator and it being filled with food. So what's important to you about your body? What are the important things that when you think about, attaining a certain goal or, oh, there's way more comments. I always do this. So let me finish the sentence and then I'll read them. When you look at attaining a certain goal with your body, or when you wake up in the morning and you start thinking about your body, like what are the things that are important to you? And where do you go to make yourself wrong about it? And what if you started becoming super present with those things? Like maybe write them down, the 5 top things that are important to me about my body. How much I weigh, you know, what I look like in my swimsuit, you know, how many people looked at me when I was at the supermarket earlier and appreciated and validated me for my appearance. Oh my God, my dog just came in and she's been in the rain. Hello. Okay, let me have for me, it's not even about scale. For me, it's not even about scales. When you can't zipper your pants and it's uncomfortable all day, I'm on that good one, change through movement. Okay, so with that, with your clothing not fitting you and it not being comfortable, it's like so Vivi, who are you trying to make right or who are you trying to make wrong? And for all of you guys, with the judgments that you have of your body, like when you judge your body because your jeans don't fit. I mean, you don't judge the jeans. You're not like, fuck you, jeans. Why haven't you stretched overnight and you fit my body better? It's like you try to squeeze your body into something, and because it fit you yesterday a certain way or a week ago, it should fit you again now. It's like when you go to that place of of it's almost like that inward trajectory of judgment onto your body. Oh my God, my jeans don't fit me. How could I have failed this test of life? Like when you go there, sorry, who is it that, like, is there a particular person or a particular point in your lifetime that, you know, that shows up for you? Because I remember growing up, it's so interesting. I had a lot of people in my world that really had a lot of judgments about bodies. Like, what if it's also that, like, where can we, like, just remembering it even, it's quite funny. Like, it's really the people in my life growing up and how much, and not even people directly for me, but also watching how people were with other people and with themselves. Like where they've had this like hatred of their bodies and hatred of other people's bodies and whatever that is. I mean, yeah, it doesn't even have to be significant now. But what if you could start looking at like when you go to put your jeans on and your jeans don't fit? Like, what is that actually creating to go to that place of judgment? And really, if you look at it and you're like, okay, what I'm demanding now, what I really like to change is that these jeans fit and that they're comfortable. So rather than going to my jeans don't fit, I'm fat, you know, I feel like shit, I did the wrong thing. What if you looked at it and you're like, okay, my jeans aren't fitting me as comfortably as I'd like to today. Maybe don't wear them, because then the whole day you're going to be walking around with that thing of like the zippers digging in or the buttons digging in, or you sit down and, you know, the seam line digs into your legs and all that sort of stuff. Take the jeans off and put something on that is actually comfortable for your body. And then, sorry, my dog needs me to, and then look at, okay, do you want to change it? Do you want to fit into those jeans? And if the answer is yes, make the demand and look at what you need to create with your body in order to change that. And you know your body, right? I know my body. I know if I'm like, hey, I'm kind of carrying a little bit extra here and a little bit extra there. I know what to do to change that. And for me, it's a certain thing. And for you guys, I'm sure you guys know based on what you've done before in your life. I mean, most of us on here have been in these bodies at least 20, 30 years or more. Like you guys know what's required to change things. So rather, and you know, Vivi, you're the one that brought up on when I asked you guys about this, like, what do you want to talk about? You said force. So how often is it when you put the jeans on and they don't fit, or the pants on and they don't fit, do you go to force, which is judgment? That energy of like, oh, if I can get pissed off about this, or if I can, you know, make myself wrong, that will be where it will change. But what if it was just like, oh, okay, I'd really like for this to change. What do I need to do to change this? Fabiola said, oh my gosh, me in a swimsuit. But I mean, look at it, like, it's just hilarious, really. Like, why could you not wear a swimsuit? Like, what? And again, like, look at history. Look at where swimsuits began. They were like up to here and down to your knees. Like, women were never allowed to show parts of their body. when we went to the beach, looking at pictures, you had to have your bathing cap on, and your swimsuit was basically like, compared to what we wear to the beach today, it's like, how much are we basing this stuff on the era that we're in? Oh, we're in 2021, so therefore I need to show half my ass cheek, because that's what most women do in swimsuits at the beach these days, and have the tiny little top that shows like my cleavage and half my boobs. It's like, if you want to go to the beach, put on something that your body's comfortable in and get your body out in the sun to the pool or to the beach. I'm pushing buttons. Good. I like pushing buttons. I had a shitload all around me, only one, and it was my dad. No judgment of my body. Cool. Okay, so that's the other thing as well. Like, each of us hopefully maybe have one person that doesn't judge our body in our life. And maybe they might not even be around anymore. Maybe we had them as a child, though. Like, what if you could find that person? And if you don't have someone you can think of that didn't ever judge your body, go to an animal. So if you had a dog growing up, if you have a dog now, look at that. Look at the energy of how they look at you and look at your body. Frankie, I know. She's like, just play with me, basically. I won't judge you if you play with me. Yeah, like look at the energy of that person, and the way that they see you and the way that they see your body. And what if you could see yourself through their eyes? And animals are the best. Like, this is why I guess I don't know, who cares why? It's like, I love being around animals. They don't have any of this. They don't use force to change things. Like watching my horses as well. I was thinking about this yesterday. With my dog, with my horses, when you go to force with an animal, you may get what you want for a little while, but never ever does force with an animal create greater for the future with them. So you force a horse to do something, you force a dog to do something, they may comply with you. They'll go to a place of compliance, but it's never going to be a willingness to work with you, to create what you're desiring to create. There's always going to be a place where that is going to fall apart. So using force is like a short-term solution. And what if it was that way with your body as well? What if every time you went to force, you created a short-term solution to something that is never going to change when you are only ever looking at the short term? So Kimberly said, my mum, dad, uncles would weigh themselves and kind of gamble with who could lose the most weight. People are fucked up. I'm sorry, Kimberly. Like, and this isn't just directed at your family, but the shit that people heap on themselves and on the people around them about how much they weigh, how much you've eaten, how much you've not eaten. Like, truly, guys, what is available beyond this? What's available now that we can institute and actualize in the world as like the new generation of people with bodies? So let me go to, and if you guys have any other questions or anything, or if because I jump around a bit on these things as well. So if there's something I've said that you want to know more about, please just type it in the chat. I'm just going to go and see what else was said when I posted about asking you guys what you wanted to hear. Yeah, okay. So Kimberly also in the comments, you said how to keep asking questions and listening to your body rather than discipline and strictness. So I think our bodies do enjoy some level of consistency. So consistency in as much as, if you find that your body enjoys or doesn't enjoy certain things, certain forms of movement, certain forms of food, that there's a consistency there that allows for a lot of variation, but there's some consistency our body enjoys. But consistency never requires discipline or strictness. Consistency is just knowing sort of the ballpark you have to play in. And our bodies are so different. Like, you look at And this is where, what if every diet or exercise regime or latest fad or detox program, what if all of that was based on that person that created it, or that group of people that thing works for? Like, it's not saying that anything out there is wrong. It works for some people. But you look at your body, like my body, I can eat a fair bit of sugar. Like, it's something that I can eat dairy, I can eat meat. There's not many things. Probably the only thing my body doesn't enjoy in large quantities is like white breads and pastas and stuff like that. And I can eat a little bit of it, but if I was to eat toast for breakfast, pasta for lunch and something like that for dinner, my body would not, it wouldn't be happy. But I can get away with pretty much anything. But then you meet some people, and if they eat sugar, like I know my good friend Simone Miller says, we laugh because we travel together quite a bit. So we go and we'll get an Airbnb and then we go snack shopping. And so many people, when they're around me, they're like, Jesus Christ, I eat a lot of food when I'm around you, Sarah. And I'm like, well, my body likes a lot of food. I eat a lot. Like, if I showed you my cupboard in my fridge right now, it is full and I'm by myself. It's just me and the dog. So, and Simone and I go shopping and, my cart's full of like sugary things. Like, I buy a lot of lollies. I eat chocolate almost every day. And Simone's like, if I did that, I would be chronically sick. But it's like, I don't make myself wrong for the fact that I enjoy that sort of food. And she doesn't make herself wrong for the fact that her body doesn't. What about if it's also getting to know that a little amount of consistency that your body does like? Like, if that consistency lies in, for me, I need to physically be active most days. Like, if I have one day where I'm like, no, today I'm going to sit around, I'm going to watch Netflix, do a bit of work on my computer. Maybe the most active I get is walking down the back to feed my horses and spend some time with them. I'll get away with it for a day. But anything beyond that, my body starts to like literally do weird explosive things, like when my cells start to vibrate to a level where I almost levitate, because like I really need, and my body enjoys quite intensive exercise a lot of the time, but it also gets bored of things. Like, and I know when I'm getting bored of something and I ignore it, it turns into pain. So for the last almost 12 months now, I've been doing CrossFit again, which I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it's quite an intensive form of exercise. I would say up there with the most intensive, actually. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's a combination of cardio, gymnastics and weightlifting. And they do everything basically to the extreme, but they're also very much about taking care of your body with mobility work and stretching and, all that sort of stuff as well. And even though it's different every day, you never go into the gym and do the same workout twice. It's very different. My body is starting to get bored of it. But I've been going 4 to 6 times a week. So now I'm like, okay, so what do we want to explore next? So on Saturday, tomorrow here in Australia, I'm going into one of the footwear shops here, and I'm going to get a fitting and get some really good running shoes, and I'm going to start doing some trail running around where I live. So getting out on the trails, I mean, I can start taking my dog with me, and because another big demand I've had in my world is to get out in nature more. And for me, I'm always looking at like being, effective with my time, I want to say. But it's true, I have a lot on. So it's like, okay, I want to get out in nature, but I also love to exercise. I love to move my body. So where can I combine those two things? And it's like, I live right in the middle of Tewantin National Park, Noosa National Park, like literally at every corner of my property, there is kilometers of trails through national parks. Yeah, so I'm like, okay, and I don't love running. It's not something that my body has ever really enjoyed, but I also know that where I resist things, there's something there for me. And probably most of the time with exercise, where I resist things is that I want to be good at it and I put some sort of expectation on myself. So my plan with, my target with this trail running is to basically get out and move. And whatever that looks like, whether it's walking and then running for 100 meters and then walking again, that's what it's going to be. And I will still do CrossFit. And then I'm like, okay, and what else? I love climbing the mountains around here. So that's another thing. I get to be out in nature. I get to move my body. It's quite intensive. It's on that intensive end of the scale that my body likes. Yeah, so I get to combine that stuff as well. What could I ask here? Under 7, 8 years ago, I was slim, girly. Then all of a sudden, I have photos, 8 or 9, and I'm chubby, tomboyish, short haircut, baggy clothes. What could I ask here? So that was when you were 9 years old, but how are you creating your body now, Kimberly? Like, what do you want to show? I went through, Jesus, looking at my childhood, I went through tomboy stages. I went through like the emo thing. I did like the short hair. I had dreadlocks. I got into body piercing. Like, hey, if you looked at what this body has created in the 40 years it's been on this earth, it's like we've tried everything. I've been muscular. I've been skinny. I've been really overweight. It's like, yeah, there's nowhere where, for me, the only time my body gets annoyed is when I try to fit it into a box and keep it there for any length of time. It's like, hey, you want to show up? Let's do muscly for a while. Let's do skinny for a while. Let's do fat for a while. Let's do tomboy for a while. Let's do very feminine for a while. But for me, the one constant thing my body requires is change, a lot of change. Yeah, what if it wasn't significant? And what if the body you have today is the best version of yourself so far? Well, so Kimberly, I was just wondering if there's a trauma that I haven't acknowledged. Well, is there? Truth, is there a trauma that you haven't acknowledged? And the other amazing thing about our bodies is they don't hold on to things. I mean, again, like using myself as an example here, and this is really like telling you guys some of my stories is just to give you a sense of like, you know, the fact that anything can be changed and anything is possible. So I grew up in a very abusive household. I had a lot of abuse around me when I was a child. Physical abuse, sexual abuse, monetary abuse, like you name it. It was there. It was all part of what went on around me as a child and throughout my upbringing. So in this reality, it could definitely be seen my body went through quite a bit of trauma at various stages in my life. But for me, I'm like, there's nowhere where I hold on to that in a way that I still need to fix it or to change it. It's almost like that stuff happened. Now what? Like, what else is possible here? I survived all of that and I've created this fucking epic life, and there's still so much more available for me and my body. And all I need to do is show up and choose it and be that. So, if there is a trauma there that you've not acknowledged, what if you just acknowledged it? And what if you acknowledge the people in your life that have done bad shit to you? And what if you also acknowledge the fact that it had nothing to do with you? You were simply there. Like, you look at abusive people, you look at people that judge you, you look at people that are abusive to other people. It's not the other person, it's them. It's really got nothing to do with you or your body, the people in your life that have been abusive to you. So what if you could acknowledge it, and what if it was just a matter of now what? And acknowledging the fact that our bodies are so brilliant and amazing and can change absolutely anything with total ease. And what if we let them lead in this sometimes as well? My pleasure, Kimberly. Thank you for asking. Thank you for being on and asking questions. Like, what if we let our bodies lead? How many times? How many? It's like the jeans thing again with Vivi. It's so, because it's so true. Like, we go to put those jeans on or that item of clothing on and it's not fitting properly. Like, how often do we start blaming our bodies for something? Like, you're not good enough. You've done this to me again. I can't believe it. I can't believe I'm here again with you. I can't believe, like, all that stuff. But where have we not allowed our bodies to lead us to what they know and what they're aware of? Where have we always tried to control everything that happens with them? Where have we not trusted our bodies? Like the abuse that's come up, or when our bodies gain weight, it's almost like you take some back, some of that trust and relationship that you've had with your body. It's almost like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if I can trust you now. You're in pain. I don't know if I can trust you now. You got fat again. I don't know if I could trust you now. You let that person into our lives that turned out to be an asshole and abuse us. Well, that too. I can't believe I did this to you, body. Like this separation between you and your body, where one's in control, one's the leader, and one is the follower, but in a way where it's not actually creating anything. I was walking up the mountain here that I climb quite regularly a few weeks ago and was looking at this energy of like, because I was literally looking, now I'm going to put my foot here, and now I'm going to put my hand here, and now I'm going to, and it was like, what if I just let my body walk and step and hold things and know where it needed to go? And what if I didn't need to look at everything? Okay, now my foot will go here. Next step is here. Then we're going to go here. Like, what if you could let your body lead? And so I started to just like expand out and almost occupy, because like I said, the other reason I like getting out and climbing things and being in nature is for the nature. But when you're that fixated on now my hand goes here, now my foot goes here, it's like you miss all of that anyway. You're so focused. Same as at the gym or when you're working out. What if none of it was about the result? What if you didn't have to be focused on looking right and getting it right? And what if you could just let your body do its thing? I'd love to feel like my body belongs to me, like we are connected. So what I would say, Janet, is, yeah. Okay, so a couple of things, because you also said you've been abusive to my body, which, let's admit it, we all have. Like, it's not even like we've, in the however many years we've been with this body, we've had moments where we've been super unkind to it. So what if that was just an acknowledgement as well? And you know what? Your body doesn't care. It doesn't have a point of view. It's not like, well, you owe me now. Now you've got 6 years of making it up to me. Like, what if you could just be like, blank slate, let's start again? And if it helps, have a moment and do it every day if you need to. Do it every day when that energy comes up of like, you remember those things you did to your body and you're like, oh, you almost get that like tightening in the stomach. What if at that point you spend a couple of minutes saying sorry? So putting your hands on your body somewhere and just saying, hey, I am so sorry. Even go to a mirror and look in the mirror and look at yourself, in the eyes and say, I'm so sorry for the shit that I've done to you. I'm sorry that I abused you. I'm sorry that I treated you that way. I'm sorry I overrode what you knew and all of the things that you've tried to show me along the way. And I've been a controlling bitch and I've treated you like shit. And I'm so, so sorry. And what's possible now? What can we now be and create together that we've never been and created together before? And do that as many times as it takes to start changing that feeling of regret or angst or whatever that is. And then you go on to say, I'd love to feel like my body belongs to me, like we are connected. So what I would look at is less of it being a belonging and more of a partnership. So think about, for me, the thing that it conjures is a pair of dancers. So whatever sort of dancing, salsa dancing, ballroom dancing, and maybe go and Google some some world famous dancers and watch some people in a partnership doing a dance. And look at the energy of that, where those two beings and bodies are moving together like they're one. But they're not. And neither belongs to the other. They're two completely separate things working in total communion and cohesiveness. And what if the relationship and that you had with your body was like a dance? And what if sometimes you were the leader and sometimes your body was the leader, but everywhere you went, it was never a fight, there was never force? Like, imagine two dancers trying to dance a salsa or a ballroom dance with force. So play with that energy. Everywhere that you've been abusive or unkind to your body, be willing to say sorry and also be willing to receive its forgiveness, because it will basically instantly forgive you. But if the energy keeps coming up, keep keep going with it. Keep apologizing and saying sorry, and find that place on your body that it likes to be touched. So for me, it's like around my thymus, like the top of my chest. Like oftentimes when I'm sitting on meetings or I'm talking to people, like I'll just have a hand lightly there, or on my legs or on my stomach, and be willing to be the energy of sorry with it. For as long as it takes, probably more for you to get free of it than your body to, because your body's like, over it, it's fine, let's move on, let's create. And then start looking at the energy of trusting your body to lead you as well. Lead you up the mountain. Like find your analogy of what that looks like. The dancers, or being out in nature, almost like blindfolded, but allowing your body to know where it's going and to know where to put its feet and to know that it's not going to put you in danger. So Emma says, 5 years ago, I was fit, CrossFit, yoga, etc. And I entered a relationship and my body craved that way more than exercise. Then my body wanted to change and I refused it, and I created an immune disorder. 2 years on, my body's finding exercise hard and I don't seem to be able to get my body to want to exercise, and it's hurting. What's stopping it from turning around? So what exercise are you doing now? Like, are you trying to recreate something that you were doing before, or are you asking questions and going with what's appealing and what's fun for your body right now? And what if there was a list of 10 things that your body enjoyed doing? So walking, running, cycling. That's the other thing. I've got a road bike, like a, a, a bike, not a motorbike that you ride on the road, that I haven't ridden since I moved here because there's a lot of dirt roads around here, but I can get out. There's a lot of cyclists here. So I want to also go and get that serviced. So I've got that there to use as well. Like, what if you had a list of 10 things your body enjoyed, or more, 15, 20, swimming, running, walking, cycling, CrossFit, yoga, just going to a gym and lifting weights. Like, how many people, if you guys haven't never tried that, maybe get a trainer and get someone to show you, but my body loves lifting heavy things. It's so satisfying and gratifying to be able to, and then watching every week how you increase your strength so quickly, like so quickly. Like, for instance, one movement that we do in the gym a lot is called a back squat. So it's where you have the bar across your back, you're standing up, and then you squat down and you stand up again. It's called a back squat. And I remember never really being able to comfortably back squat 100 kilograms. You know, I weigh about 80, so that's my body weight plus another quarter, 1.25 of my body weight on my back. And I did it like a few weeks ago. And then I was like, the very next day we were doing back squats again. So I was like, I wonder if I could even go a little bit heavier. And I did 102.5. In 24 hours, I increased it again. And then maybe a week later, I did 105 kilograms. Like, the satisfaction of seeing like that weight going up is so fun, and my body loves it. So if you've never tried, and what if you went and tried a few things? Like, try weightlifting, try salsa dancing, try running. Like, what are the things that you've always wanted to try with your body and you've never done it? You've just always thought about it. You've always talked about it. You've always watched other people do it and been slightly envious of how good they are. Every single person that dances, every single person that lifts weights, every single person that rides a bike, day one was hard for them. They weren't perfect at it straight away. Yeah, my body loves leg exercises with weights as well. Isn't it amazing how strong we are? Like, the things that your legs can do, it's like, Jesus, and how quickly it will change. Like, if your target is to jump higher, like, you know, there's another thing in the gym you do called a box jump, where you jump from the ground onto a box. I mean, you can start with this high. And if you're like, I'd really love to know how high my body could jump from a standing position, jumping up onto something. So start at the low one, write it down even. I used to track things a lot more. I don't so much anymore. A few things with the weights that I lift, but have a little journal. And what if even you did it for 6 weeks and then you're like, okay, I'm bored of this. What next? Yeah, so maybe you're right. I'm trying to recreate light weights, yoga. It feels more tired. It feels more tried. So if you're doing something with exercise and your body is hurting, is it pain or is it awareness? If you're doing anything and your body's hurting, is it pain or is it awareness? And ask your body, hey, what are you telling me here, my friend? I'm sorry. I'm obviously being a fucking idiot again and I'm not listening to you. And I know you're trying to tell me something, and please can you give it to me in a way that I can hear you? And hear the whispers then. And it's the lightest whisper that your body will tell you that is the thing that it's trying to tell you. It only screams at you when it has to. It really doesn't desire to use force either. So make the list of like 10 things, and maybe list 5 things you haven't tried yet that you've wanted to try. Riding a horse is another great way to get to know your body. So go and find a horse riding place close to you where you can have a lesson, or even one of those rental horses where they're kind of in like zombie robot mode. But being on a horse's back out in nature or in an arena, like there is a connectiveness between you and that animal that you will not find anywhere else. And it will give you awarenesses of your body and muscles that you did not know existed. This conversation way beyond what it's and so amusing. Thank you, Vivi. Thank you for being on here. Yeah, yours communicates through pain, Janet. But what if it didn't? What if it didn't need to get to pain? Because it's really when it gets to pain that it's tried probably, 100 other things first. And the pain might not have to do with the exercise you're doing. The pain might have to do with something that's going on in the world. The pain might have to do with something, could be anything. So don't automatically also think, oh, my body's in pain, I must have worked it too hard, or my body's in pain, it doesn't want to do this exercise. Like, how often is it almost like we create the problem because we don't want to do whatever it is that we've already decided we don't want to do? So, running, for instance, like how many runners end up with injuries or parts of their body hurt? Is it because their body actually, because they don't actually want to run? I mean, their body doesn't have a point of view, but is it they're like, I will run because I am a runner. And then they injure themselves and they're like, oh, cool, now I get to have a break from running. It's like, what if you just changed it? What if you just chose something else? So, what if you challenged yourself and in the next week just tried one type of body movement that you've never done before? And it could be anything. You don't need to go to a gym. What if it's like finding a wall and practicing doing a handstand? Like, you don't need to have equipment. What if it's your first push up? Like, what is one thing that your body has never done with you in this lifetime that you could challenge yourself to do? And not through force, and look at in a week what you could change. If it was to do one push up, do one and then see, it might take you 3 days. So then what if you try and get to 2 push-ups? So yeah, our bodies are capable of a lot. And they really desire to create whatever we desire to create. So what if instead of creating shit, we started creating fun, play, challenge, work, intensity, relaxation, receiving? What if we could have all of it? What if our bodies want and desire all of it? So I'm going to leave it there because we've been on here for a while, and I could keep talking all day basically. And I'm looking at different things to do from this Facebook group. Like, I'd like to sort of maybe pick a few things out and have calls or podcasts or things like that. So if you guys have any requests for anything in particular, please let me know. Or even like I could do a little some sort of group where we do exercise as well. Like, yeah, I know a lot of stuff where you need minimum equipment. You can do it at home. We could start up a separate group and do like a fitness type thing, like changing your body in 30 days, whatever. I know a lot, and I'm willing to be whatever's required to create more change in the world with this. I decided to have a world where we don't judge our bodies and we have so much fun with them. So much fun that every day we wake up and we're like, oh my God, I have a body. What can we do today? What can we be today? Like, imagine a world where we were all had the energy of puppies and children and those places we had where we didn't have the judgment and the solidity yet. Cool. Adore you guys. Thank you for being on live. Thank you for watching in the future. Thank you for having bodies and being on this planet. And truly, what else is possible beyond anything we've imagined so far? And what if it's just the tip of the iceberg right now? And what if everything you've ever been told about your body was a lie? Mwah, mwah, mwah. Adore you guys. Bye-bye.